This is what happens after first responders help make sure Texoma drivers get home safe no matter the conditions. A sigh and often tears of relief as daughters, sons, wives, and husbands welcome their own home. Moments like this have to sustain those same families when the one they love puts themselves in harm's way time and time again, which is why little Eliana had no problem braving the cold to wrap her little arms around her daddy. What you don't see in that video, the mom behind the camera. And until you know her story, you won't truly understand what that hug means to this family.
I also have that fear in the back of my mind that one day she could be raised without her dad.
10 anxious hours of waiting.
I was up at the I-35 stoppage there at the mountain, and that's what took me so long to get home.
Culminating in a hug that seemed to last just as long for Austin's wife and Eliana's mom, Kendra Ludwyck. The tearful daddy-daughter moment taking Mrs. Ludwyck back to a fateful day nearly 2 decades ago.
I was just 10 years old when I lost my dad. I didn't think I could ever lose somebody to the job again. That was my biggest fear.
Kendra's father, Oklahoma Highway Patrol Trooper Bill McClendon, died in the line of duty on October 1st, 2006. She never imagined a love could grow in the same soil where her heart was first broken. Then, she met a boy that wanted to become a trooper.
We were just best friends at the time. I mean, we were 17 years old, and he told me that, and I was like, I want to be a state trooper. And I told him straight up, I'm like, I'm never going to marry a state trooper.
Just a few years later, Austin and Kendra became Mr. and Mrs. Ludwyck. 6 months after that, Austin was accepted into the OHP Academy.
We found out that we were pregnant with our first daughter. And so I was like, this is really God. I didn't apply. He has something different for me.
Communicating only through written letters while Austin was away at training, Kendra was keeping a secret.
And then he found out the whole time I'd been sick. He found out I'd been a little bit not telling the truth the whole time, but I knew this is what God wanted him to do, and I knew that one moment he knew I needed him here, he would quit it and throw it away, and we couldn't have that.
She supported me every step of the way, so even at times when I thought I didn't want to, she knew I did, so she's the reason I'm here right now.
They were preparing for their first little girl when something they could never plan for happened.
There was no heartbeat. God called her home. I had already thought I couldn't move on after my dad. I know if she was supposed to be here, God would have paved a way for her to be here, but it doesn't make it easier.
Kendra tells K10 she had to learn that she doesn't hold the pen for the roadmap to her life. Instead of shutting down, she started listening. What she heard, her calling.
Throughout my life, no matter what's happened, God's always been at the end and putting me in a position where I'm supposed to be.
Kendra decided that she wanted to become a labor and delivery nurse to be that source of comfort for other women. She's still doing that part-time, and now she's the full-time nurse for Marietta Public Schools. It's rare that she finds time to rest because even in those quiet moments, you get precious memories.
Being in this job, we're gone overnight stuff, week-long stuff, trainings, the tornadoes. Those all are long days, which we have to send that text, say, hey, I'm gonna be late. I just go where they tell me to go, but she's the one that holds us together more than anything.
A pillar of strength for her family, an example of trusting in a greater plan even through unbearable grief. This mom had every reason to stop, but she chose to keep going. Life's tests in the rearview mirror, miracles waiting on the horizon.
It was super cold, and she comes out in her little unicorn robe with her rain boots on and tramping through the snow, which was almost up to the top of her boots, but she kept on going until I got to her, so then I just wanted to pick her up because I was afraid she was going to be cold. But she's a light, both of us. She just fills our life with joy, and I want her to stay that way.
I hope they always look up to him, and even if he has to miss a basketball game or a holiday, that he realizes he's doing it to help other people, and we should always help other people. And I want them to always put people as the front line, to always show God's love, because that may be the only moment that person gets of God's love. And I want them to see that in their father.
When searching for the source of the Ludwyck strength, you don't have to look far up the family tree. Kendra's mother, Her name is Hope, a symbol her daughter and granddaughters carry with them each time they wait for their hero, Austin, to come home. In studio, I'm Bailey Vaughn.